This episode of Liberty Lines is brought to you in part by...
It is important to understand that the Constitution does not create rights for anyone. It simply serves as a grant of power to and a blueprint for the structure of the federal government. The rights of the people existed before the founding of the United States. You do not have constitutional rights. You just have rights. To protect them, you must understand them. The book, A Republic If You Can Keep It, can help you with that understanding. Available at patsanswers.com/blog. Click on the Store tab. $16.95 plus shipping and handling. All major credit cards are accepted. Buy it today.
Welcome to Liberty Lines, Episode 2-24, What, or Who, is Sovereign? I'm your host, Pat Kansor. At the Revolution, the sovereignty devolved on the people, and they are truly the sovereigns of the country, but they are sovereigns without subjects, and have none to govern but themselves. In Europe, the sovereignty is generally ascribed to the prince. Here, it rests with the people. There, the sovereign actually administers the government. Here, never in a single instance. Our governors are the agents of the sovereign people, and at most stand in the same relation to their sovereign, in which regents in Europe stand to their sovereigns. That's a quote from Justice John Jay in the case Chisholm versus Georgia, 1793. The question is Justice John Jay lying? If not, he's saying the people, us Americans, are the sovereigns, highest status, none higher. Who would willingly surrender that? People who have creator-endowed rights to life, liberty, natural and personal, absolute ownership of private property upon which to pursue happiness without needing the permission of another, are sovereigns over their domains. And the government instituted to secure that endowment is not the master, but the servant to the sovereign people. Of course, those who consent descend to subjects of that government, which becomes their sovereign lord and master, and they must shut up, sit down, pay, and obey. So exactly how did the federal government get the power to make everyone born in the jurisdiction of the United States a subject citizen, with mandatory civic duties that make the government sovereign over them? Don't believe me? Go write a polite letter to your government servants and ask for an explanation. I'm not infallible. I make mistakes. Prove me wrong. If your only remedy is to withdraw consent, you'd better do a little research to make sure you know how and when you consented, so you don't accidentally make that same mistake again. Once you use the fraud card to get out of jail free, any future consenting will be presumed to be done knowingly, willingly, and intentionally. Pursuant to American law, starting with the Declaration of Independence, all men have creator-endowed rights to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, which according to various decisions and authorities means natural rights, natural and personal liberty, absolute ownership of private property, inherent powers, privileges, and immunities that governments were instituted to secure. This endowment cannot be taxed, lest by raising taxes the exercise would be diminished. Only by the consent of the governed can government do more than secure rights, that is, to adjudicate disputes, prosecute criminals, and defend against all enemies, foreign or domestic. And, as mentioned in the Declaration of Independence, those who consent to be governed have pledged their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor to secure the rights of the people by serving that government. Thus, we see two statutes mentioned in the organic documents: people who are sovereigns, and consenting citizens/subjects. All those pesky rules, regulations, and taxes are only applicable to those who consent. That's the law. I stipulate that the lawyers wrote the laws to hide that fact. But when you actually read the statutes at large, you'll see how they differ from the code. But in all instances, the presumption is that the governed/taxed entity has given consent. Militia duty, the source of the draft/conscription/selective service, is the legal obligation to train, fight, and die on command. Such a duty obviously voids any endowed right to life and liberty, but the Supreme Court has ruled that such obligations are not involuntary servitude, but most do not know how or when they consented. That is the point. The Supreme Court has held in Butler v. Perry in 1916 that the 13th Amendment does not prohibit enforcement of those duties which individuals owe to the state, such as service in the army, militia, on a jury, and so forth. In selective draft law cases, the Supreme Court ruled that the military draft was not involuntary servitude. Can't have it both ways. Either we're born with an endowment from the Creator, or we're born citizens with obligations that aren't involuntary servitude. Which one is it? That's my take on it. What's yours? Share your thoughts by emailing me at librarian@patsanswers.com and share the link to this vlog with your friends. This has been Liberty Lines, episode 2-24, Who or What is Sovereign? I'm your host, Pat Kansor. Join us again next time.